This is the Private Officer Beat Radio with Rick McCann at the microphone.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Private Officer Beat Radio for this Monday morning, April the 10th, 2023, as we quickly move into the first quarter of the year. We're already deep into the first quarter, the fourth month of the year, and it seems like we just started the year maybe a few weeks ago. I'm your host, Rick McCann, founder and CEO of Private Officer International, and this is a production of Blue Ram Media Group, LLC, and Private Officer International. Last week, we kind of left off talking about school security and my vision of how we can make our schools safer, but how we all need to come together. This is not just a one-part problem. This is not just something that the police or private security can rectify. This is a much larger problem than I think anyone has even attempted to address. So today, we want to stay on point and talk about home life, counseling, how we need to get truancy officers and other community groups out in the field checking on students' well-being, home life, as well as trying to circumvent, trying to stop the issue before it really explodes up, literally. Some of these kids involved in school shootings are victims themselves, and they fight back in the only way that they know how, and unfortunately, that never ends well. We talked about yesterday on the legal side several legal cases that have come up in the last 6 or 7 weeks where state Supreme Courts and justices have ruled against security companies and for security officers. I hope that you had a chance to listen to that. If not, please feel free to go back. It's on demand 24 hours a day, streaming on more than 30 platforms, including iHeartRadio, as is all of our private officer shows, all of the trainings that we've done on air. Everything's available, streaming 24/7 for you, for your convenience. All that you have to do is either go to our website and click on the link, or you can go to iHeartRadio, and like I said, it's there 24 hours a day. As is our breaking news, go to our blog 24/7, privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com. You can hear all of the latest news, read all of the latest news. You can see all of the latest events. We post a lot of information there as well, and as with our digital magazine, more and more people are reading that. You'll find interesting news as well as original articles and other videos and information. privateofficernews.org. That's privateofficernews.org. And be sure to frequent our main website at privateofficer.org. Always updated. If you're interested in taking any online public safety, security, or general courses with Armour College, all that you have to do is go to Armour, ARMOUR college.org, and you can enroll right then and there. Interesting fact, we are currently training several out-of-country employees of a company, and several have recently contacted us. We have trained people in Qatar, France, Germany, and Canada and other countries, and we may be traveling out of the country. We are available if you or your business is in need of any type of training, whether that be church security, force, school security, TASER certification, medical certifications. We offer well over 500 courses now. So go to our website at armor, A-R-M-O-U-R, college.org, or you can send us a general email, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Today we do have a lot of breaking news as usual, and of course, at the bottom of the radio program, once again, we'll be picking up where we left off last week talking about school security. I am going to take a quick break here. We'll be right back. Remember, we're here for you 24/7, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. You are listening to the voice of the frontline protector here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
Are you a recently retired or maybe active law enforcement officer looking for a different future, maybe owning your own business, former military, public safety, private security professional, EMS, or the fire service, looking for a new way to make a difference while running and owning your own business? At Public Safety Services, we provide services to those who protect us around the world. I'm talking about the police, the sheriff's department, the military. Our organization provides community service officers, private law enforcement, prisoner transport, traffic investigators, and many other public safety service related services to law enforcement agencies across the nation. You can own your own business, be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Contact us at publicsafetyservices.org. Let's talk about how you can make a difference today while owning your own business.
Distracted driving is dangerous, but some people just can't seem to help themselves. There's the steering wheel propper, the sneak-a-peeker, the fast roller, the night-lighter. And it's not long until they become the fender-bender-er, the got-a-ticketer, the veering off the road, the driver who kills someone. Enough with the phones already. Just put them down.
We're back here on the Private Officer Beat Radio. This week, we are releasing this year's annual Private Officer Award nominations. You'll be able to nominate your friend, coworker, or even yourself. There'll be a link on the announcement where you can nominate whoever you would like, and that includes civilians, law enforcement officers, or others who need to be recognized. We have recognized civilians almost from the beginning of our association, almost 20 years ago now, as a matter of fact, and we have recognized many law enforcement officers and even a few police chiefs. So, this will be released on Tuesday, tomorrow, and it will be available for several weeks for you to nominate a well-deserving individual, security professional, law enforcement officer, or other person. Remember, if you have any questions about those nominations, contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We are in the middle of putting together some training conferences. Now, I wanted to hold 3 regional conferences, but what I've come to realize once again is that, unfortunately, our security members, our association members, our people who work out in the field, they just don't have that luxury of taking a week off or having their company send them on this trip at no expense. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make these smaller and more frequent and in more areas so people can get to them Thursdays and Fridays and get back to work on the weekend. So be looking for all of those dates and times. Remember, if you're a business, a security company, a school, or even a church, and you would like to sponsor one of those events, contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We have a number of locations currently on the calendar: Louisville, Kentucky, Huntsville, Alabama, Biloxi, Gulfport, Mississippi, and possibly some in the Midwest. We're currently confirming one in Denver. We will see if these all come together. As I have said a few weeks ago, we depend on our friends and sponsors to be able to help get these things established and help to get them marketed. And once we get everything lined up, we will be sending out emails, and you'll be hearing about it here on the radio show as well. Recently, I've been talking quite a bit about the various interviews that I've been doing, and I finished up one of the interviews this past week with a very large media group with multiple newspapers, and they're going to be coming out with a story about how private security has changed. And they have guaranteed that this will be a positive story, not one of those negative ones that we see. Unfortunately, though, in the midst of doing this interview, there are almost over 24 security officers arrested within just a matter of a few days, 6 of them for sexual assault, 1 for attempted murder. All of these are on duty, by the way. One of them was a college public safety officer. And so the media, they're not dumb. They do pick up on some of these stories, and they have questions. And unfortunately, I'm put into a bad situation where I have to kind of comment on them and give my opinion or my experienced observation. And one of the things that was addressed this past week, and I couldn't argue the point, was a lack of supervision. And I believe that there is. I've talked about this many times over the years, that, back in the day, they had street supervisors, lieutenants, captains. They made post checks every day. Sometimes they even do surveillance on the security personnel to make sure that they're not only were there on duty, but doing the job, making the rounds. And unfortunately, now we don't see that much anymore. We don't have many people physically. We have some companies who use automated services. You call in an automated service to say that you are there and what time you're leaving. And some of them have you call in every few hours just to verify that you're still on site and alive. And that's a help. That's good. That's more for their documentation for insurance purposes and legal purposes than it is for the actual security officer. But this past week, I did discuss some of the situations where security officers who often work alone are injured more frequently and killed more frequently because of the lack of two-way radios or communication, no backup, no immediate support. And sometimes it's not until the next morning that an employee comes in and finds that security officer dead on the job after being murdered. So, but I hope that the articles coming out here soon will be as positive as they promised that they would be. And working with Time Magazine, very large story, and hopefully that will be published soon as well. We're also working on a lot of other things that we've talked about over the last 6 to 12 months. We have several online video programs that we are working on. I have a dozen projects going at the same time. So some things have taken a back burner approach, but we're getting those back out and working on them again. If at any time you want to participate in helping us put together videos or working on a virtual museum project or being part of one of our committees, all that you have to do is send us an email, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Before I take my next break, I do want to remind you also we have several radio programs. We've got a great program about music and life on the Gulf Coast. You can listen to it on more than 30 platforms, streaming 24 hours a day, especially over on iHeartRadio. Just look for Coastal Alabama Highway 98 Radio. We play some of the best gospel, country, folk, jazz, and bluegrass. And, of course, you can listen to me. Coastal Alabama Highway 98 Radio. We'll be right back. You're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector here on Private Officer International Radio. Are you looking for the finest private security officer training in the Charlotte metropolitan area? Do you need PPS qualifications in armed or unarmed training? Or maybe you're over there across the line in South Carolina and you need the SLED training. Well, we've got the right training at the right time for you. Premier Training Academy, located at 5624 Executive Center Drive, Suite 142 in metropolitan Charlotte, North Carolina. Give them a call today, 704-806-4933. They also offer firearms training, personal protection, first aid and CPR, and so much more. Call John at 704-806-4933.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over. When you see lights,
Best. Or reflectors.
please give us some room. Slow down and move over. When you need us,
We've got your back.
you have ours.
You got our back?
You got ours? You got our back? Please, slow down.
And move over.
The Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department is the latest to entice recruits into their city by offering a substantial sign-on bonus. Right now, the Metropolitan Police is offering $25,000 for all new recruits that make it through the academy. According to Lieutenant Patrick Loftus, the department is more than 750 officers below strength. Right now, they're trying to get back to 4,000 officers. $25,000 enticement will help to get some of those numbers back in place, according to the lieutenant. They're not the only police department in the country. Some police departments have been offering between $5,000 and $10,000 for the last 3 years. Security companies also are offering large sign-on bonuses. Right now, Allied Universal has a sign-on bonus of $4,000. Lofton Security is offering $2,500, and other security companies across the country are also enticing recruits with large sign-on bonuses. This enticement has been used by companies throughout the U.S. and around the world for many years, but only in the past few years have law enforcement and security needed to use this type of cash sign-on bonus for recruitment. I'm sure that we'll continue to see other police departments offering not only large sign-on bonuses, but other enticements. We've already seen several police departments who have allowed officers with minor criminal offenses, drug use, and other reducements in order to recruit these officers. NYPD and others now are looking to eliminate some of the requirements, physical requirements, of their academy. I do have a couple of training announcements that you may be interested in coming up over the next 30 days. Next week, we have a training happening on the 14th. This is Introduction to Electronic Security. This will be held in Virginia. If you're interested in getting involved in electronic security, burglar alarms, fire alarm systems, this might be a great course for you. Contact helpdesk at armorcollege.org. On the 10th and 11th in Richmond, Virginia, we have the 25E DCJS course. This is the locksmith course. This is open enrollment. If you are interested in being certified as a locksmith, you can contact us at helpdesk at armorcollege.org. On the 12th, which is a Wednesday, we'll be in Chantilly. We have an open enrollment there for first aid, CPR, AED, naloxone certification, and EpiPen. That's a one-day training course. Again, this is going to be in Chantilly and available as an open enrollment. Contact helpdesk at armorcollege.org. And on 13th and the 14th of April, we'll be in Richmond, Virginia. We'll be doing an electronic security technician course there, open enrollment. If you are interested in participating, contact us at helpdesk at armorcollege.org. The following week, we have numerous open enrollment courses, and on the 24th through the 28th, we will be holding a 40-hour bail enforcement course. This will be in North Carolina. This is going to be an excellent opportunity for you to be certified in North Carolina and in Virginia. It is an open enrollment, and if you are interested in being a bail enforcement agent, this might be a great opportunity for you to get that introduction and get certified in Virginia to be a bail enforcement agent. 40 hours and an additional 24 hours if you want to be an armed bail enforcement agent. We have taught this course, bail enforcement, both online and in seminars across the country. There seems to be an increased interest over the last 4 or 5 years. A lot of states have done away with bail bonds, while others have actually increased the requirements. And we're seeing that even some of those states that once upon a time did away with bail and let everyone out on their own signature have found that doesn't work all the time. So they are, again, putting bail requirements in on certain charges, especially felonies. So if you're interested and you cannot make these dates, contact us at helpdesk at at armorcollege.org, ARMOUR college.org. Also, on the 1st and 2nd, we'll be at Averett University, and we'll be holding an open enrollment training there as well. And on the 6th of May, we'll be in Kentucky holding a church security. We have lots of training going on. If you're interested, contact helpdesk at ARMOUR college.org. We'll be available. We're available to travel across the country and Canada, and we hope to step that up a little bit more now that COVID is pretty much behind us. COVID did, unfortunately, freeze a lot of the training, but we are on the road, and not only myself, but several other instructors. If you're interested in being an instructor for whether that be regulatory training for your state, whether that's Texas, California, Florida, we're looking. If you'd like to be a medical instructor for AED, CPR, or EMT, or emergency medical responder, or any of the 100-plus courses that the American Red Cross offers, contact helpdesk at privateofficer.com. Our training online, on campus, and outbound has really been kicking up over the last year, and we need instructors. We pay well above what our competitors pay, offer great opportunities, and I think this might be a good fit for you if you like training, helping people, connecting with folks, and making a difference. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
If you're not already receiving breaking news and our bi-weekly newsletter, Officer Down Reports, and discount training news in your personal or business email, then go to our website right now at privateofficer.org. privateofficer.org. A Dropbox will come down. Just fill out your info, and you'll be the first, one of the first, for sure, to know about what's happening in the security industry. You'll know when a security officer is killed. You'll also get these great discounts on training and equipment and so much more. privateofficer.org. And
it's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To not look the other way.
It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Private Officer Breaking News.blogspot.com. That's where you can read all of our breaking news fresh every day. Not stale, not old, not old has been. This is all new. Posted daily. You can also check out our digital magazine at privateofficernews.org. Many original stories, news, and a lot more happening there. And you can join the conversations on all of our social media, Private Officer International on Facebook, and also twitter.com/Private Officer. Coming out of the Isle of Palms, this is a small resort area of South Carolina. Police said at least 6 people were shot in a mass shooting over the weekend. It started as some type of teenage gathering. The shooting occurred behind the Sea Cabins vacation rental community. Multiple police agencies responded to assist that small law enforcement department, medical services, fire. Even the FBI responded to the report of a mass casualty situation. Police in Portsmouth, Virginia, foiled a robbery/fraud attempt. One man has been arrested. Tryon Johnson was charged with stealing $7,000 worth of poker chips from a table. He also grabbed $2,600 in cash from the cashier in a robbery. Police were able to apprehend him after a short chase. Coming out of the small town of Cameron, the village of Cameron, this is in Wisconsin, 2 Wisconsin police officers were shot and killed during a traffic stop. This happened Saturday afternoon in the village of Cameron. Police say 2 police officers, one from Shetek, Wisconsin, and one from Cameron, were both pronounced dead during this traffic stop shooting. Police have arrested one man at a Walmart in Greensboro, North Carolina. This incident occurred Several days ago, a disturbance with a man waving a gun at security. Police arrived. They took Katan Lavan Toomer into custody. Authorities say some type of dispute ensued prior to the gun being pulled out. 3 teenagers suspected to have all been murdered in a gang-linked triple homicide coming out of Marion, Florida. Police there do not have a suspect in custody. Layla Silvermail, 16, was the latest victim. Police believe that all 3 are related. We've been following this for almost a week. Very, very tragic. A robbery suspect has died after being tased by a security officer and struggling with Home Depot security in Kent, Washington. Kent, Washington police say they also responded to assist the uniformed security officer during this situation, but they say they did not use any force on the suspect. Police said that the 38-year-old man, who has not yet been identified, was placed in the recovery position after the struggle. He began to lose consciousness and was transported to a hospital where he later died. Coming out of Farmington, New Mexico, police there accidentally shot and killed a homeowner when they showed up at the wrong address in response to a domestic violence call. Police were met by the homeowner at about 11:30 p.m. Wednesday, who believed that his home was being broken into. Police fired multiple shots, killing that homeowner and injuring the wife. That shooting is under investigation. Another tragic incident. I'm sure that charges will probably be filed. Coming out of New Hampshire this past week, the Attorney General's office ruled that a police officer and a security officer on duty at the New Boston Space Force Station who shot and killed a man in May of 2022 were justified. Police said that New Boston police officer Shane Morton and an on-site security officer, Peter White, responded to an incident at the federal facility. They found Michael Foley, 33. They say that he would not get out of his vehicle, that he escalated the situation with a weapon, and that both police and the security officer opened fire, killing Foley. Now the AG says it was a good shooting. Coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, a civil lawsuit has been filed against Novant Health, one of the large hospitals in Charlotte, Mecklenburg, North Carolina, and against their security officers. This resulted in an assault that occurred in 2022. The plaintiff said he was arrested at the roof above men's shelter and taken to the hospital February the 8th. He alleges that Novant security and CNPD officers refused to tell him why he was at the hospital. The plaintiff became upset, confused, belligerent, and refused to answer Novant triage questions. He said he just wanted to leave. That's when hospital security began to punch him and assault him. He was surrounded by at least 4 security officers. Philip Holliday and Franklin Jones, security for Novant, were the aggressors. Now the lawsuit alleges unfair treatment, kidnapping, and assault. The plaintiff is asking for a jury trial and an unspecified amount of damages. This was the 7th lawsuit filed last week that we know of against private security. A Riverside, California man has pled guilty to robbery and shooting a security officer. Jose Rangel, 32, admitted to the robbery and shooting of a security officer and took a plea deal with the Riverside County District Attorney's Office for his exchange of admissions of his wrongdoing. Prosecutors agreed to drop other related charges against him. This all occurred in Paris, California. According to authorities, the man was caught by security during a robbery. His co-defendant, David Joseph Espinoza, also pled guilty to identical charges and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. A shooting has left a security officer injured. This happened outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Police say that security and a man was involved in a confrontation. The suspect was later arrested. The current condition of the security officer has not been released. In Colorado, police there say a transgender person was arrested planning a mass shooting similar to the Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee. Law enforcement got wind of the plan and was able to locate the transgender. The individual had a communist manifesto planning a mass shooting at schools and churches in the Colorado area. Now, the person, who is 19 years old, has been charged with both state and federal offenses, but that person's identity has not been released as of yet. In Linwood, Washington, police there say some quick-thinking thieves burrowed through a coffee shop straight into an iPhone store where they stole more than $500,000 in iPhones, but the security alarm never went off. And the reason why is because, and we see this often in strip malls where they will go in through a roof or through a glass window. The alarm never sounds because there's no motion sensors. Police said that they spent plenty of time in the store gathering up over $500,000 of iPhones. Coming out of Laurel, Mississippi, a member of church security team who is also a reserve deputy for Jones County, Mississippi, has been charged with second-degree murder. A shooting outside the church left one man dead, and James Corey Donald, 45, was the victim. According to the sheriff's office, the member of the church security team went outside to investigate a person who was in the parking lot. An altercation ensued. According to law enforcement, the reserve deputy then pulled a gun and shot the man. According to police, the suspect was off duty at that time and working security at the Rock Church near Laurel, Mississippi. Police are saying that a King Soopers security officer in Aurora, Colorado, was assaulted, punched by a shoplifter. But that security agent was fired, even though he only defended himself. Police say on store video you can clearly see where the suspect was shoplifting and stopped by a loss prevention agent. The man assaulted the security officer, who then defended himself, but he has been terminated. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority has added additional bomb-sniffing dogs to their security team. They already had 3. Now they've added several more. Bear, Reba, our Labrador Retrievers, and Bo and Wells also are there. And they say that with an increase in traffic and activity, they needed to add more drug and dog explosive dogs. A church security officer in Memphis, Tennessee is in critical condition after he was hit by a vehicle while setting up traffic cones at the Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church. James Adams was hit by a Toyota Corolla while setting out those cones on Stage Road and Santa Valley Street. According to the Memphis Police Department, they say the driver of that vehicle stayed on scene. The security officer is still hospitalized in very critical condition. A Newark, New Jersey airport worker was arrested after TSA found a gun in his backpack. According to authorities, TSA also check all employees of the airport, just like if they were a traveler. That's when they found a loaded handgun. Police were called, and they did arrest that employee. Target is facing a lawsuit filed by a woman and a 9-year-old boy who was stabbed numerous times by a homeless man. This occurred in November of last year in L.A. We said during that time, we put out that information, we said that there would probably be a lawsuit, and now there is. 25-year-old woman was hospitalized. The unprovoked stabbings occurred inside the store. The man had a 9-inch butcher-style knife that he got off the store shelf. The woman has recovered, but they say that the Target store allowed that man inside. We will follow this lawsuit. A mass shooting has been reported in downtown Louisville today. Police responded to a shooting on East Main Street. There's a lot of activities happening in Louisville at this time. Police say multiple victims are dead. This is a breaking story. We will be tracking that in the upcoming days as well. Coming out of Long Beach, California, the family of an 18-year-old girl who was shot and killed by a school safety officer in September of 2021 has settled with the school for $13 million. The Long Beach Unified School District has agreed to pay out $13 million. Safety officer Eddie Gonzalez was seen on video shooting into a car where Mona Rodriguez was a passenger and died from the shooting. Police said that the safety officer was responding to a fight outside of the school. The driver of the vehicle refused to stop. The security safety officer said he felt threatened. He's been charged with second-degree murder and is still waiting to go on trial, and we are definitely following that as well. When you see breaking news happen, contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. A man has been arrested in North Carolina. This happened at the North Carolina A&T College campus after police found more than 1,000 rounds of ammo and several guns. The 27-year-old man said he brought the guns and ammunition, including knives and a crossbow, onto the campus of the state college after someone had threatened him. Security officers say when they stopped the man, he threatened them. Brandon James Bentley was taken into custody after chasing the unarmed security officers around campus with the weapons. Local police and highway patrol responded to back up the security staff and took him into custody. Police in Stafford County, Virginia, say 3 teenagers chased down another boy and beat him half to death, literally, just to steal his sneakers. Stafford County is an affluent northern part of Virginia, just off Interstate 95. Police said that when they arrived, they swarmed the area and began searching for the suspects. They soon found an Uber driving on a nearby street and asked what he was doing. The Uber driver said someone had called to pick them up. Deputy sheriffs soon located several of the teen boys and canceled their Uber driver. police using canines, drones, and helicopters were able to finally arrest all three, two 15-year-old boys and a 14-year-old boy charged with aggravated malicious wounding, robbery, and they are still in police custody. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to talk about school security and safety. There are many ways to secure a school building. The question continues to remain whether or not people are going to get serious about protecting our children. You're listening to The Frontline Protector, a production of Blue Ram Media Group, LLC, and Private Officer International.
Can we be real for a minute? I'm a high school math teacher, and I'm a firefighter.
Man, we're going to have you out in just a minute, okay?
I'm a designer.
I'm a retired VP in business.
And I'm a student.
I'm a mother.
I'm a business analyst, and I'm a volunteer firefighter.
You thought we just fought fire?
Firefighters get trained to do so many things.
Right here. Be sharp. What we do is serious business.
Three-quarters of the nation's first responders are volunteers. That includes here in Connecticut. And lately, it's been harder than ever, with fewer citizens volunteering.
From teenage cadets like me
to seasoned veterans like me.
So what are you waiting for?
You ready to make a difference?
Ready to join our team?
Your community needs you. We need you. Visit everydayheroct.org or stop by your local firehouse today and take the first step of joining your fire department.
Coming up on next week's edition of the Private Officer Beat Radio, a very special program that you will not want to miss. This is scheduled for next Monday, the 17th of April. I'm going to be talking about a new technology being used by law enforcement and one that is quickly being adapted by the private security side as well. We're talking about, I think, a big game changer. This won't be for everyone. It won't meet everybody's needs. Nothing ever does. And it might be too far out of the box for many people to even consider. For more than a year, I have invested in myself, my staff, my time, and my resources to put together one-of-a-kind, unique, advanced technology supercenter. This is called the Real-Time Crime Center. And next week, I'm going to reveal how that works for both law enforcement and the private security industry. This will be a game changer. With the RTCC, both private security and law enforcement can monitor clients, businesses, properties, spaces, people, vehicles, assets in real time. Rather than go back and scroll through video after the fact, this is not reactive. This is proactive form of security. Proactive is going to not only apprehend people quicker, it'll cut down on crime, it'll assist local law enforcement in their investigations, and it's going to be a game changer. In the RTCC, the Real-Time Crime Center, being monitored 24 hours a day by analysts and experts in their field. We'll be monitoring law enforcement, schools, colleges, businesses, high-end companies, and areas that have a propensity for violence. With our 24-hour real-time crime center comes a lot of different technologies: license plate readers, facial recognition, shot spotters, technology that can instantly identify not only what's going on, but who's involved in what is going on. That information can immediately be sent electronically in real time to local law enforcement responding to the scene. Rather than this just be an activated alarm or some other electronic device that's not been confirmed to be a real crime in progress, now we can and will be able to confirm not only that it's a crime in progress, but who's involved. We'll be able to run that license plate, identify who owns the vehicle, where that vehicle lives, where they might be traveling to. We'll be able to identify if shots are fired on the property of a client. How will this benefit you? Well, next week, you're going to want to join us on the 17th of April at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I guarantee you that if you are a company owner, a public safety officer, somebody working as a director of hospital security, public safety, campus law enforcement, or public safety, this is going to be a game changer for you. Don't miss it. For more information, if you're interested in possibly using the service, contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Next week, we'll spill the beans. We'll tell you how it's going to be set up, how it will be marketed, how it will help you, your business, your company, and really how you can even make revenue from its services. That's next Monday, talking about real-time crime centers.
Body Armor USA, we've got what it takes to protect you. Whether you're looking for the top quality protective armor or protective clothing, stab-resistant vest or gloves, contact my friend Ben over at Body Armor USA. Give him a call, 516 area code 817-1666. Again, that's area code 516-817-1666. Body Armor USA, we've got what it takes to protect you. No doubt about it.
Each day, those that protect and service in law enforcement put their lives on the line. These law enforcement officers often work long and irregular hours in tough and dangerous conditions, run a high risk of being attacked, wounded, or even killed by the very criminals that prey on us. Every year, hundreds of law enforcement officers are killed or seriously injured in the line of duty. Blue Alert is a system that provides the means to speed the apprehension of violent criminals who kill or seriously injure local, state, or federal law enforcement officers. Find out how you can truly help those who help. That's bluealert.us.
Welcome back to the Private Officer Beat Radio on this Monday morning, April the 10th of 2023. Last week, we left off talking about school shootings. How this is really more than a one-dimensional subject. How this is going to take the whole village, everybody, to be involved, to make things different, to make things better, to protect students and staff, visitors, and our schools. Unfortunately, many in the political arena only want to focus on one thing, and that is guns, guns, guns. Yes, guns are part of the problem, but not the firearm itself, but whose hands it winds up into. All of these issues relating to school shootings can all be traced back to the family life, to where the child is living. to what kind of family environment he's living in. Many times, as we spoke last week, many times a child's life at home is anything but picturesque. It's not Leave It to Beaver. It's not some TV show from the 40s, 50s, or 60s. There was a time when the family unit was made up of a father, a mother, the kids. Most of the time, the mother stayed at home and did all of those domestic-related duties while the father was the breadwinner. Of course, we've seen that lifestyle change over the many years since then, with women working, which is nothing wrong with that at all, but it splinters the family unit. Dad goes one direction to work, mom goes another direction, the kids go to school, and maybe by 6 p.m., one or both of the parents arrive back at home, tired, stressed out, maybe not even in the best of moods, and now they've got to think about dinner, they've got to think about homework, and they've got to think about how was your day, honey, and what happened, if they even reach that subject at all. And many times in families today, they're unstructured, not a normal setting, not the picturesque, the way that we would think of things not that long ago. Single family, single parent homes, both mom and sometimes dad in charge. And they're working, and they work plenty of overtime, and they have other commitments and other situations happening. They're not really in their children's life to the degree that one would hope they would be. And that is the reality of today. Financial pressures, mental health issues, drug and alcohol addictions also play a role in today's everyday life. Without having someone from the school system, without having someone from the community, some organization checking up on the students' well-being at home, conditions, do they get enough food? Do they get enough rest? Are they abused? Are they involved in local crime? Are they a gang member? Are they being sweated by a gang to join? There are so many dynamics that go into the resolution of school violence that we haven't even scratched the surface. And unfortunately, there's really no entity that I have seen, whether that be law enforcement, the school system, or any other public outcry from community organizations about how to fix the whole picture. We can pull the bad growth out, the weeds out of our garden all day long, but if we don't cut it off at the root, it's going to grow back. And I think we have put the Band-Aids on this problem for so long, you would think that it would have all changed during Columbine or thereafter, but it didn't. It only got worse. No one that I can see has addressed the full spectrum of issues that usually result in this violence. Most shootings at schools are not strangers. They're not someone who just drives into town and picks a school and randomly begins to shoot. Many times they're students or former students. Many times it's people that we know or are familiar with or law enforcement has interacted with. We need to have a better understanding of what led up to the school shootings. dissecting every shooting because they're all a little bit different. In every active or mass shooting incident, there are many similarities, but there are also many differences. Sometimes they are the cause of someone who feels that they have been disrespected, that they have been overlooked, they weren't promoted, they were discriminated against. Sometimes it's people who dislike a certain company or school or religion. Sometimes there are problems that are clear as day, but not addressed until it's too late. How do we resolve this issue once and for all? We have to approach it from multiple directions. We have to deal with what causes the shootings. We have to deal with the students' life at home. But we also need to figure out a true and definite, definitive method of securing our school. I have heard for a good 30 years that we don't want to make our schools look like Fort Knox. I can remember a proposal given to a school system about how to lock down the doors, have one entrance in and out. Everyone must come and go through one egress, one method, one door, and that would be at a checkpoint, while patrol officers, security or law enforcement, would patrol the exterior, checking the security of all doors during school hours, and we could maintain the traffic flow, both foot and vehicle. But schools didn't want that. We can't lock down part of the school. That's where these kids like to come in. They like to come in from the west side. They like to come walk through and come over through this door, that door. While all of that is great, in reality, it's one of the reasons why so many school shootings happen. Too many methods, too many different ways for people to get on campus. In some cases, they just walk on. The doors are unlocked. No security, no SRO, no physical presence, no one there to stop them, which is what happened recently in Nashville, Tennessee, in the most recent school shooting. Access control was wide open. There was no access control. Figuring out how to lock our schools down, we need to seriously take a look at all of the methods available. Right now, technology allows for gun detection devices that are almost unseen. They stand there and they monitor a large amount of people coming through the door, and its advanced intelligence, AI, can track that firearm and alert law enforcement or security immediately as they pass through that area. No wanding, no interference with the flow incoming. It's silent. It stands there like a sentry. We have drug and gun sniffing dogs. Some schools currently have them in use, and they have been marvelous at detecting firearms without stopping each and every student, without stopping and searching every backpack. The canines stand there and are able to detect the smell of gunpowder, firearms, explosives. Oh no, we don't want the children to be afraid of the dog. We can't have dogs in our schools, say some principals, some parents, some school board members. No, let's just let the gunmen come in. Let's not try to do anything to stop, discourage, or even apprehend the suspect. Let's just let them all come in and do whatever they will. The reality of the problem is there are resolutions, there are methods, there are technology there are physical ways to prevent guns from entering our school. Just this past week, while I was doing a little bit of research for today's program, I found that there were at least 6 different schools just in the area where I live where guns were recovered this past week. In 2 of those cases, they were brought into the school and never detected until it was too late, until there were gunplay, until the gun came out during confrontations. We can stop the flow of guns. If we can stop the flow of guns at the airport, if TSA can recover thousands and thousands of guns every year, we can detect them at our schools. It's, do we want to? Do we want to put forth the programs? Do we want to put forth the methods? Do we want to have true access control and gun detection? Or do we want to give the students the leadway to do whatever they want? You see, that's one of the other problems. Over the last 3 or 4 years, many police departments have had to remove their SROs from schools because of students' complaints, student protests. Since when do 14, 15, and 16-year-olds control what is done at the school? Since when are they in charge of school security? Parents, especially minority parents, have rallied against police, against any type of security in the school, against any type of searches of their students, of their children, all these innocent children. And yet, when a shooting occurs, guess who gets the blame? School administration, law enforcement, everybody except the people who should be blamed, the shooter themselves. And in some cases, the parent, the student. We have a problem in society. And that problem is that many people do not want to have any type of law enforcement, any type of control over them. They want to reign free. They want to break the laws. They want to sell drugs, do drugs, carry illegal guns without any repercussions, without any type of threat of enforcement. And it's getting worse. How can we possibly secure our schools, churches, or businesses with this type of mentality? Don't come to our campus unless we call you. Don't try and stop gun flow, drug flow, or illegal activity on the school campus. We'll police ourselves. We don't need the police until we do. For many, it is a situation where they can't win, between a rock and a hard place. The truth of the matter is we need to secure the schools. We need to harden the schools, as they said after 9/11. And after every shooting, more than 376 shootings, school shootings, since Columbine, according to the Washington Post, which tracks the numbers. And there are several independent businesses that also track the numbers that we have looked at in recent weeks, and they agree. 376 shootings at schools. Until the school system, the parents, the students themselves, and the community can come together and say, this is our plan. We're going to do better at keeping track of student life. We're going to do better at making sure that students are not engaged in gang activity, that they're not engaged in bullying, that they're not engaged in criminal activity, especially on campus. We're going to do everything within our power to make sure that not one gun, not one knife passes the threshold of our schools. And that if students are involved in some type of minor confrontation, physical altercation, we're going to discipline them, but that may not necessarily mean put them in the pipeline and arrest them and send them through court, because that's always not the answer. I believe that some police officers have gotten themselves into a situation where they're doing more misdemeanor policing and more interaction as a disciplinarian than whatever was meant to be. As I've said last week, I remember myself when school SROs began policing campuses. When I was in high school and even in grammar school, I can remember the police coming in with drug dogs and searching vehicles in the parking lot as well as student lockers. And high school, they would do the same thing. But they never walked children to the principal's office for smoking or for not wanting to go to class or some other minor infraction. I think we have gotten astray as to what the duties and roles of SROs in schools really should be. The plan is not simple, but the plan to stop violence on campus is not difficult. It's not hard. We need to address student problems at home. We need to address student problems on campus. We need to have a way to lock down the campus. We need to have a way to detect guns. There's nothing wrong. Arenas do it every single day. Have you gone to a National Football League game lately? They not only pat you down and search everything you have, but now they have dogs. Explosive dogs, gun detecting dogs. Shopping malls have gun detecting dogs. We can stop the flow of guns. We can stop the violence at schools. We can stop the mass shootings. We can stop the active shootings. We can stop the deaths and injuries of students and staff if we wanted to. Do we really want to? As a business owner, as a parent, as somebody in the security profession, you should be leading the way. You should be contacting your school board and volunteer to be on the security committee. You should be contacting your school board, your school principal, if you have children in school especially, and get involved. You can help prevent these tragedies. But unfortunately, we're all too busy. We all have so much going on that we don't get involved in some of the most important areas of our lives, and that's our children's lives. We don't think that we should interfere or get involved in protecting our community. Even if we don't have kids in school, it's still part of our community. Those kids are part of our community. We should be reaching out. We should be doing more. Sit down with the police chief. Come up with some ideas. We need to get back to the basics of securing buildings and protecting lives. It may not be an easy conversation, and there may be some that will turn you away, but you'll never know until you try. You'll never know until you make that first step. You'll never, ever get any place if you never get up and make a move. I believe that schools can be secured. I believe that students' lives can be spared, saved. And I believe offenders and those who would do harm to our students, our staff, our community can be caught before they ever complete their act. But it's up to us. Come up with a plan. Contact help desk at privateofficer.com. We can put our heads together. We can address this as a community, as an organization. I don't think that we can do it alone, but we can definitely do it together. Together. That concludes this episode of the Private Officer Beat Radio for this week. Please contact us at helpdesk at privateofficer.com and get involved. Get involved in saving lives. Until the next time, y'all be safe, be blessed, and we'll see you back here on the radio.